Sympathomimetics. So the name itself, these are the drugs or group of drugs which mimics the actions of sympathetic nervous system. By definition, these are the drugs or group of drugs which mimics the actions of noradrenaline, because noradrenaline is the neurotransmitter in the effector junction of the sympathetic nervous system. So these drugs will be mimicking the actions of noradrenaline and produce an action similar like the stimulation of sympathetic nervous system. Mechanism of action of sympathomimetics. We can group it into two. The first group, they will be directly acting sympathomimetics because they act as agonist. They bind to the adrenergic receptors and activate the receptor and produce an action similar to that of noradrenaline. So these are the drugs which are having both affinity and intrinsic activity for the adrenergic receptors. While the second group, they are known as indirectly acting sympathomimetics because they do not bind to the adrenergic receptors. Instead of that, they will stimulate the release of noradrenaline from the synaptic end bulbs of the sympathetic nervous system, and the released noradrenaline will be producing or stimulating the receptors, producing a sympathomimetic effect. So it's an indirect action, it's not direct, because the drug only do the release of noradrenaline from the synaptic end bulb, and the action is produced by the released noradrenaline binding to its own receptors. So they are known as indirectly acting sympathomimetics. Classical example is amphetamine, and amphetamine is also a classical example for the process known as tachyphylaxis. That is a rapid development of tolerance due to administration of a drug at a short intervals. So if the amphetamine is administered at a very short intervals in a continuous way, there won't be any store of noradrenaline to get released. So there won't be any action for amphetamine on administration at short intervals for multiple times. Coming to the classification, first is directly acting sympathomimetics. As we mentioned, the mechanism of action, directly acting sympathomimetics. First is endogenous catecholamines, which are present in our own body: adrenaline, noradrenaline, and dopamine. They are chemically similar and they are synthesized in the same pathway. And dopamine also do have some effect on adrenergic receptors, but the prominent effect will be produced by adrenaline and noradrenaline. Second classification, non-selective beta adrenergic agonist. Non-selective because they can activate both beta. They can activate all the beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3 receptors. So they are known as non-selective beta adrenergic agonist. Example is dobutamine. Selective beta 2 adrenergic agonist. They are selective for the beta 2 receptors, and drug wise also they differ in the selectivity for their organ. So the first class is salbutamol, terbutaline, salmeterol and formoterol. So these drugs will be highly selective for the beta 2 adrenergic receptors located on the bronchial smooth muscles at therapeutic doses. In the sense, when the drug is administered at the recommended therapeutic doses, they will be stimulating beta 2 adrenergic receptors very selectively on the bronchial smooth muscle and produce bronchodilation. And it is highly useful for treating bronchial asthma. Salbutamol is a very fast-acting drug, a fast-acting bronchodilator when it is administered either by inhalation route or by IV route. Second class of beta 2 adrenergic agonist is ritodrine and isoxsuprine. They are highly selective for the beta 2 receptor located on the uterine smooth muscles at therapeutic doses. And when the therapeutic dose of ritodrine or isoxsuprine is administered, they will selectively produce uterine relaxation, and the effect is known as tocolytic effect, and the drug are known as tocolytics, and they are useful for to postpone the labor or in case of preventing threatened abortions. Coming to alpha-1 adrenergic agonist, selective on alpha-1 receptors. Remember, alpha-1 receptor, the major location in the vascular smooth muscle, and their role is to produce vasoconstriction. So if the alpha-1 receptor is stimulated very selectively, it will be producing prominent vasoconstriction. The drugs are phenylephrine, nafazoline, oxymetazoline, and xylometazoline. The last three drugs are well known as nasal decongestant because they are being locally instilled into the nostrils, and they will produce vasoconstriction and reduce the thickness of nasal mucosal bed and relieve the congestion. Alpha-2 adrenergic agonist. Alpha-2 receptor, remember, it is an autoreceptor. If it is stimulated, it will decrease the activity. The drugs are methyl-dopa and clonidine. The methyl-dopa and clonidine, they can selectively activate alpha-2 receptor located in the CNS and decreases the sympathetic influences or sympathetic outflow from the brain into the blood vessel and the heart, and can reduce the vasomotor tone, producing vasodilatation, and can decrease the heart rate and force of contraction, and they are found highly useful in case of pregnancy induced hypertension. Second main classification, indirectly acting sympathomimetic. As per the mechanism of action, indirectly acting sympathomimetics, which can cause release of noradrenaline from the synaptic end bulbs. Examples: amphetamine, tyramine, and ephedrine. Now we will discuss the pharmacological actions of adrenaline. Why adrenaline is selected as prototype drug? Because adrenaline can activate all the adrenergic receptors. So we can discuss all the actions arising due to the activation of all the adrenergic receptors. Starting with cardiovascular system. On heart, adrenaline can stimulate the beta-1 receptor and increases the CAMP level in the myocardium, resulting in increase in heart rate and increase in force of contraction. That finally lead to increase in cardiac output and rise in blood pressure. While on blood vessels, it is having a dual action because of the presence of two type of receptors in the vascular smooth muscle, that is alpha-1 and beta-2. So alpha-1 receptor can produce vasoconstriction while beta-2 receptor can produce vasodilatation. But when adrenaline is administered exogenously, the plasma concentration of adrenaline rises and it predominantly acts on alpha-1 receptor. The reason is the threshold concentration to activate alpha-1 receptor is more compared to beta-2. So when the concentration of adrenaline is more, it will be stimulating alpha-1 receptor, producing vasoconstriction, which is a positive action. While as the time goes on, when the plasma concentration of adrenaline comes down, it cannot activate alpha-1 receptor, but it will be continue to activate beta-2 receptor because the threshold concentration required to activate beta-2 receptor is less compared to alpha-1 receptor, producing vasodilatation. So initially, when adrenaline is administered, it will produce vasoconstriction followed by vasodilatation. As a result, the effect on BP can also vary. There will be increase in blood pressure initially, followed by fall in BP before returning to the normal blood pressure. The reason is the vasoconstriction followed by vasodilatation. And the effect on blood pressure of adrenaline is known as biphasic response of adrenaline on blood pressure. And it was clearly demonstrated by the eminent pharmacologist Dale, and the process, the experiment was known as Dale's vasomotor reversal. Just have a look here. This is a normal blood pressure line, 120/80. So when adrenaline is administered, initially it produces a rise in blood pressure followed by fall in blood pressure before coming back to the normal baseline. So after that, in the experiment of Dale vasomotor reversal, which is being experimented in the dogs, the beta blocker which can block all the beta receptors were administered, and followed by adrenaline was administered. So there was no beta action, only alpha action was there. So there is only rise in blood pressure, no fall in blood pressure. Later, alpha blockers, which can block all the alpha receptors, were administered, followed by adrenaline, resulted only in fall in blood pressure, no rise in blood pressure. So that clearly demonstrated that there are two receptors, alpha and beta, which can produce vasoconstriction through the alpha receptor and vasodilatation through the beta receptors. Continuing with effect on bronchial smooth muscle, adrenaline produces bronchodilation by activating beta 2 receptor in the bronchial smooth muscle, and highly useful for treating bronchial asthma. Salbutamol is a drug of choice. Effect on eye, it produces mydriasis because of contraction of radial muscles of iris, improving or increasing the pupil size, and they also decreases the intraocular tension because adrenaline can stimulate alpha 1 receptor, producing vasoconstriction of the blood vessels in the ciliary processes and decreases the secretion of aqueous humor. That tends to decrease the intraocular tension, useful for treating open angle glaucoma. And the mydriasis is produced by two classes of drugs. One, it is anticholinergic drug, and the one is sympathomimetics. But if you compare the two, the mydriatic effect produced by the sympathomimetic do not show cycloplegia or do not show loss of accommodation because there is no paralysis of the ciliary muscles, and there is no photophobia by the sympathomimetics because the circular muscles of iris are intact and the receptor of cholinergic nervous system is not being blocked. So the light reflex will be remain intact and there won't be any photophobia. Effect on gravid uterus or pregnant uterus, it produces tocolytic effect already explained. Splenic capsules is storage of RBCs. So it is not being evident in human beings, but still it can contract the splenic capsules and pour the RBCs into the circulation, which tends to increase the hematocrit and will improve the stamina and oxygen carrying capacity. Effect on skeletal muscles, it is having a facilitatory effect on neuromuscular junction. That means it can facilitate the neuromuscular transmission across the NMJ, neuromuscular junction, which can result in tremor when the drug is administered at a higher doses. Effect on CNS, the important receptor is alpha 2 receptor. If it is stimulated, it will decrease the sympathetic outflow from the brain, reducing the vasomotor tone and reducing the heart rate, reducing the force of contraction and reducing the elevated blood pressure. Other effect, it can produce the symptoms like associated with anxiety and apprehension. Effect on metabolic system, it produces glycogenolysis, already mentioned, resulting in hyperglycemia, lipolysis and increased free fatty acid level, which can be utilized for gluconeogenesis, again increasing the blood glucose level, resulting in hyperglycemia. Adrenaline is well known as physiological antagonist of histamine. So it can prevent the histamine release as well as prevents the action of histamine. One of the reasons why it is a drug of choice for anaphylaxis.